Bitter criticism. The Great Recycle Day. We have news for 1 day long. If I could read, I can read actually. So, you know, I'm kind of dizzy. I'm kind of ill because of my throat. I had a flu, so that's why I'm super grove. But the question is, the news are getting interesting. I just want to keep going reading, and because of I'm so interested in, the news are great. I mean, not great, but interesting. There's a lot of articles I just left behind. A lot. I mean, I have 80% of all the articles I got. I just missed it, and some of them are super interesting, like this one. No, I'm just opening up, just practicing my English. That's in the end. That's the purpose of this channel, to practice my English. I was considering to make a channel called on YouTube, a YouTube channel called Russia Today and CGTN right till the end. But I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine like this. I guess it's fine like this. I guess actually I'm not sure about it, but I did have some response from the United States, not directly, but podcasts I listen. They some time ago they start saying bitterness, criticizing my bitterness. But I guess it's not so hard, What's the problem of being bitter? Oh well, this is just an option, You have the option, if you want to be bitter. I have to remember this, being bitter. So if you want to be bitter, if you want to hard criticism, come with me. I guess it's nice. I mean, great things in life are bitter, like coffee, beer. There's a lot of bitter things. There's a lot of great bitter things. Criticism. So this could be a conflict channel. You can say also this is a conflict channel. So I'm gonna take the last this Martin Armstrong article, it was great. He was talking about Western crisis, Western economic crisis, financial crisis, the reasons that led the West to war. I guess that's a super important factor. West debt. That's the real reason about because this is a great reason why the West is doing so much wars, or is been doing a lot of war. So capitalism is not an innocent system, But we'll keep reading. Well, my guess about capitalism is that they is a highly speculative financial system. I was listening a lot of podcasts. I don't have a formal formation on economics, but I always listen in podcasts about economics. what people say is that, and this is not so important because these people from podcasts, from economic podcasts, they live in abstraction, you know. Whatever they think is not from the real world, or what I mean, they are not real workers, you know. Real workers are down below, driving a truck, a truck, a bus, a truck driver. They are truck drivers. They are dog keepers, dog sitters, and that's it. But the economists, they just. I was listening a podcast recently, and there were somebody talking about capitalism, saying that capitalism is not mean, is not evil, but is unaware. Capitalism is unaware of people's problems, you know? Like, let's say myself, I don't have money to make a course, any course, like a truck driver course. So I don't have the money, the means, I don't have the ways to do that course, and I suffer. Let's say I'm suffering because I cannot be a truck driver. Let's say that, for just example. So my suffering affects me a lot because, let's just imagine, my dogs are starving, you know. My dogs are starving, so I have to deal with the starvation of my dogs, and that's terrible for me, you know. And a lot of people in the global south, that is not 100% true, you know. But it's true in I don't know, 30% of this is a 30% true. So what, this is not economic literature, you know. This is not economic literature. It can be as some ways. The question is, capitalism in this very 2024 just don't have the ways to take data from these situations, like my situation, suffering from not having ways to study a truck driving course, understand? So Chilean capitalism, global capitalism, they just don't know. They don't know, understand? So how an economic system can do anything, can do something for in order to help me, if they just don't know, understand? Well, and in another way, yeah. So capitalism can do something if capitalism knows. So at this point, it's not that evil. I guess it is. There's a lot of problems in Chile. Like, there's a lot of instances where Chilean society, and this is not capitalism. I will say to you, frankly, very frankly, Chilean society is worse than capitalism because they have this traditional abuse in Chile, in which people just suffer, you know, and people think it's fair to suffer, you know. Like, in a global north country, if you don't have the ways to do a course, or I guess even in highly liberal countries like United Kingdom, for example, they help you because of welfare system. Is welfare? Yeah, I guess. Welfare, yeah. So welfare system, there's no welfare system in Chile. People just much cruel than even Brazilians, I guess, you know. This is a real case here. There's an institution, it calls, I will not say the name, but this is like technical courses. if you don't have the ways to pay a technical course and you prove that, and you are too poor for Chilean standards, they will not call you, they will not answer you. Maybe that's a pattern in the whole world, but in Brazil, I guess they are not so miserable, you know? They are not so poor. The system is not so precarious. I mean, if you want to do a course, if you want to study in Brazil, it's much easier, because in Chile there's a lot of discrimination. Yeah, so in this discrimination is criminal, is not regular, you know. So Chile is a Chilean society. I cannot say enough. Chilean society is terrible, terrible. They are worse than capitalism. They are like middle-aged people. They don't have a well-developed brain. You know, they have little cognitive capabilities. They are stupid. Anyway, they laws, they don't respect the laws. There's a lot of depression in Chile anyway. So this country is just shit. And this is today is Mother's Day, so having kids in Chile is one of the worst mistakes you can do in life, you know, in 21st century, 20th century and beyond. And that's it. So I enough said. I'm just gonna keep reading from real economists which are crazy because they don't know nothing from reality. Martin Armstrong is one of the most influential economists of our times. Someone called him the forecaster because that was the title of the biopic film that helped make his activities known throughout the world. I'm just gonna skip what I read yesterday. Your analysis and study seems to reveal several critical issues regarding the stability of the so-called Western system. There is a profound crisis on democratic systems. There's a lot of mistrust towards mainstream information. And above all, there are agents external to the institutions. An example above all is the activity of George Soros, who seem to influence the choices of governments in the United States and Western Europe. What could happen in the immediate future and in the coming years? This is a question addressed to this guy. I don't remember the name of the. I just say it, but anyway. So the answer. Just waiting the bourgeoisie driving trucks. The bourgeoisie driving trucks. The drivers' bourgeoisie trucks. Anyway, it has been propaganda that we live under a democracy. We live under republics in which case the people are represented and have no right to vote on critical issues. Republics historically are the most corrupt forms of government compared to a monarchy or dictatorship which cannot be bribed. In a republic, all representatives lacking term limits are up for sale to the highest bidder. This has resulted in the collapse of confidence in government both in Europe and the US, which have fallen below 30%. The lowest since World War II. External agents such as George Soros, Bill Gates, World Economic Forum push personal agendas, which has further undermined the confidence in our systems. It is the government that dedicates if we go to war or not. No, no. It is the government that decides if we go to war or not. The people are never asked. Question. Now, we invite you to make some reflections on the geoeconomic dimensions. The global capitalist system is based on the indebtedness of sovereign states. Is this a sustainable situation? Who will play the bill in the end? The sovereign debt crisis that we face has appeared often throughout history. It is unsustainable because governments act in their own self-interest and will always expand debt to retain power. Historically, these systems collapse when they issue new debt to pay off the old, and no one is there to buy the new debt. Once they can no longer continue to borrow new money, inevitably they collapse. Your predictive model is based on precise calculations. The cycles of history and the economic does seem to chase each other along the time span of history. If I am not mistaken, you compared the current context to the crisis and dissolution of the Roman Empire. Is it correct? You know, this question is just like Michael Hudson. So this guy definitely he knows Michael Hudson. Maybe they are friends. Let's see the answer. You know, it's the same argument. So if you wanna be a scholar and you are lazy too, just copy Michael Hudson. History repeats because human nature never changes. The Roman Empire is but one example from history on its success and failures. It lasted longer than anyone because it did not impose cultural regulations. The Christians called them pagans because they had so many gods. That was the product of their policy of freedom of religion. Athens had Athena. Northern Europe had Thor. So they did not try to change the culture of the lands they conquered. They created a common market where someone in Britain could sell products to someone in Rome. So the freedom of religion, low taxation, freedom of movement, and a common market combined to create the Pax Romana. You know what I was listening a podcast to? Genghis Khan, the Mongol leader. He did just like this. He created a market. You know, he created a common market. It was not about conquering. You know, it was about market. And people love him. People love Genghis Khan just because of the market. And I guess that's why he got a lot of wives. Which is nice, I guess. Question. Is it still possible to avoid a large-scale world conflict? Answer. It is unlikely that we cannot avoid Cold War. Governments need war because their debts are no longer sustainable. They will use the war as the excuse for defaults, as was the case for World War II. They will create Bretton Woods too if the IMF digital currency has as the reserve. Yeah, so well, I'm not an economist, but digital currency as the reserve from the EMF. So I guess this world is getting, yeah. So this is a pretty depressive thought that the world will just keep being ruled by barbarian people and digital currencies. And fakery, just fakery, just power and fakery. Question: Pope Francis has been talking about a piecemeal third world war for years. From your point of view, is what the Holy Father claims can be shared? What are the main weapons of this possible third world war? Answer: I will search the name of this guy again. This guy is, his name is, just a second, Martin Armstrong. Martin Armstrong. But it doesn't matter, just remember the name. It is still possible to avoid a large-scale conflict, and the answer of this guy is Martin Armstrong. It is still possible to avoid, yeah. It is unlikely that we can avoid world war. So there will be world war. Governments needs war because, yeah, I just read that. Pope Francis has been talking about a piecemeal third world war for years. From your point of view, is what the Holy Father claims can be shared? What are the main weapons of this possible third world war? Answer: I believe we have a third world war that will begin piecemeal with the Middle East, Iran versus Israel, Europe versus Russia, North Korea versus Japan and South Korea, China versus Taiwan, but they will eventually merge together. So what a bitter criticism. That is not that bitter. It's not criticism, it's bitter reality, That's the bitter reality we live in. So call me. If you are a hot babe, I'm single, I just have dogs here. I love women, I love Middle East women, Iran women. Israel, yeah, I guess I like Israel women because they have this big nose. I like European women, Russian women, North Korean women, Japanese women. I love all kind of women. South Korean women, China women, Taiwan women. You call me, Do you don't have a house? You don't have a peaceful country? Chile is peaceful, Call me. I'm poor, but I have a roof. I don't use drugs. What else? I have 3 dogs, beautiful dogs. I love women. Anyway, have you heard that the true wealth of a state is its people? Why did we forget about all this? Above all, who is it convenient? Oh, what a stupid truck. Above all, who is it convenient for? The wealth of every nation, it is people. That has been proven with the rise of Germany and Japan after World War II. This is the essence of Adam Smith's invisible hand. But those in government prefer Marx. What? What a liberal guy. But those in government prefer Marx, for he advocates that the state has the power to manipulate the people. So governments have forgotten it and reject Smith because Marx provides them with more power. Question: It is correct to claim that your analysis succeeds in converging the intersection of geopolitics, global markets, and economic confidence. What I just gonna repeat because of the noisy trucks. No, I'm not. Can you explain to us in a simple way how your Socrates predictive model works? By the way, why did you name it just like the Greek philosopher? Huh. Answer. I named my computer model after Socrates because the Oracle of Delphi has said that he was the smartest man in Greece. He tried to prove the Oracle wrong, and the process proved it to be correct. He was out he was put on trial and sentenced to death because he knew too much. And all was just a allegory from Plato. Plato creates Socrates. Yeah, what a nice brain Plato had. But yeah, I prefer Socrates. I don't know much. I will keep criticizing because it's easier. If you say something, what I do is like social Platonism. People in global south, but I guess I'm not very well educated. My education should be super terrible, but I guess I did not create this concept by myself. I guess is social Platonism is an influence from Brazilian academy. I do remember this guy, Gessé Souza, G.C. Souza. This is a sociologist. He's aquarium. Anyway, I read a book from him or two, and he also talked about Platonism, and I was thinking about this Platonism thing before him. So as I was living in Brazil, I guess Brazilian Academy again, they have this concept against Platonism, social Platonism, like essence, religion. People believe in essence. People believe things don't change. That's the terrible thing about Platonism. People underestimate people, the global south societies underestimate people's intelligence. They say, no, this guy with that beard, maybe with that glasses and that beanie, he stinks. So this guy doesn't have a brain because he stinks. Understand the error of Platonism? And well, what happens in a country like Chile? People really depressed about this kind of treatment. People really depressed. What happens to me is that I bet on me, I guess I'm capable of destroying a lot of societal things in Chile. Read my words, take note. I will destroy a lot of things here. I'm not talking about physical things. I'm talking about superstructure. Right? Well, this guy, Martin, anyway, I don't remember the name of this economist. He don't like Marx, but I'm just talking about the superstructure concept, like institutions, behavior, a lot of things. People will remember. You will see. I always say to myself, you will see. It's funny because, yeah, it's funny to fight, fight for your rights. It's funny. It's not dramatic, it's funny. I was some weeks ago, I saw this Italian movie. I don't remember the name of the director. It was like My Friend, something like that. I guess this is not the original name. Even Amici Mi or something like that, can say. There was a spectacular film. It was a whole different approach to life, and at that point I was really glad to be an Italian because it has a completely different approach to life, not a toxic one, not a depressed one, but a, a joy one, just to live to make fun, to live to get pleasure from life. And at that, I guess does not come from some essence, I don't agree with that because of some essence, but just because of culture, maybe there's something related to imagination of self-awareness. But you can say social conflicts as a game. Definitely you can enjoy social conflict. That's it. That's revolutionary. That's never saw. Nobody saw that in Chile. I'm guarantee you, and that's why I'm so dangerous, because I enjoy the conflict. You know, I can provoke conflict just to amuse myself, to enjoy. Anyway, uh, he tried to prove the oracle wrong, and the process proved it to be correct. He was put on trial and sentenced to death because he knew too much. My computer had taught me a lot in geopolitics. We had a major bank in Lebanon in the 1980s, and they asked if I could create a model on the Lebanese pound. I put the data in the computer and came out and said their country will fall apart in 8 days. I thought something was wrong with the data. When I told the client, they asked me what currently will be best, and I said the Swiss franc. 8 days later, the civil war began. Yeah, not because of idealism, understand? Because of economics. Obviously, they saw the movement of money, themselves, and came to me for the timing. The same thing happened with a client in Saudi Arabia who was a big shipper. He called me asking me what gold will do tomorrow, because Iran was going to be attacking shipping in the Gulf. So once again, there was advanced information about war. In 1998, I understood how the computer was forecasting such events. I warned in June at our London conference that Russia was about to collapse. The London Financial Times has snuck into the back of the room and reported that forecast on the front of their newspaper on June 27, 1998. Russia collapsed about 6 weeks later. So very, very, very smart guy. This was from Russia Today. Are unpredictable events such as the terrorist attack in Moscow also considered among the parameters of your predictive model? A black swan type event can change the course of history and geopolitical relations. Yes, we saw the capital flows shift a day in advance, up to a week in advance in the case of the attack in Israel. The defense stocks began to rise even with 9/11. The government used our model to look at who bought puts on airlines in the days before. Someone always knows when they are going to do these types of events, and they move their money either to profit or to avoid a loss. The computer is tracking everything. It cannot tell me It cannot tell me which person has done it. Just that the move is about to take place. And that's it. That was a great article. Not so great because this guy, I guess, is not that hard, you know. If you have a country like Russia. Oh look, I found my old Luta. This is a thermic. This is a thermical. I'm not sure if you say thermical, but this came right here in my zipper. I just leave it there. So great news. I like it. This is a Finnish. I'm a Finnish cloth company. I expect to have more. So, but what Chileans doesn't expect is they don't have the opportunity to take a fly and live in Finland, just like me, just I have. Despite Finland is so expensive, isn't it? So that's the problem. That's my problem. Money. I don't have money enough to survive in Finland for 3 months, I guess. People say that a good way to move to Finland, for example, is to marry a Finnish woman. So again, if you are a Finnish woman, an European woman, come live with me, and then when the war is over, we go back to Finland and see what we can do. Isn't it, Milu? Milu wants to get free, but tomorrow I will free these dogs. Because today I have to go to school, to college, English lessons for myself. You're stinky, Milu. Milu, he has a problem. He's going to get stinky. He get in the corpse. The corpse should be full of insects and parasites. There should be a terrible image, with a lot of worms, even bacteria, and he's got a problem here. He got a skin problem on his back, and that's why he's not free. I'll free him not every day, but just tomorrow, you know, just 1 day a week, because you're stinky, Milu. Stinky. It's bad for your health. Anyway. We have a news from Pepe Escobar's Telegram. The shocking awe of yesterday and then the inauguration. May 7 by Amarin Ian. It was published in What We Are Not Told, 3 comments. What 3 comments? No, I was not shocked or scared or wanting to run around pulling my hair out. It is to my surprise that people that know the score and are actively commenting or writing, or video makers or content generators, creators on geopolitical issues, are shocked and scared. If many of our fellows are shocked and scared, I must say that they are perhaps in the wrong business. Let's see. Did Putin threaten nuclear action? Oh no. He announced exercises, snap drills, on the use of tactical nuclear weapons in the southern district, the district that is responsible for the Ukraine. And why? Because the Western so-called leaders got totally out of their boxes and are literally and without the knowledge and in a space of utter stupidity, creating something like the Cuban Missile Crisis to try and force Russia to act in the way they want. That's it. A big Ukraine war. They are unhanged and they will not be allowed an unending cycle of escalation. You know, I was too slow It's just like I said. I need 2 days to read all these all these articles, but I guess it's pay off, because those are great articles. You should read them all. I just gonna yeah I just changed things. This is a policy change. I will read everything, I will read less and I will read more. What about that? I will read less and best. It's better to read less. Anyway, fuck me, fuck you, fuck everything. Pudding wanted to, because it's a huge article. I'm not gonna do it this time. So less than 1.5 article. Pudding wanted to shock them out of their grounds. He put the idiots back in the asylum. Putin or Russia does not want to start a nuclear war, God forbid. It is the David Camerons and the person who published that the French Foreign Legion is in or going to the Ukraine that Putin was after, as well as the responsible people around that has the ability to shut this shattering, idiotic mumpies down. One simply does not say these things because Russia is bound and responsible to respond. Putin simply showed them how the game is played in the adult room, and they are all holding their seating areas with both hands while a raft or other European countries are spilling the beans, saying, It is not that I have troops where they should not be, frequently lying, but at least it is an adult game. Anyway, it's not being war so far. I'm just gonna read shorts. Sweden to allocate 28 million euros to Ukraine. Sweden will allocate 28 million euros over $30 million to support Ukraine's defense capabilities. The government announced it on Thursday. It's good to know for me because I'm not sure if I want to go to Sweden anymore. China launches its first MEO, broadband communication satellite. And that's it. I'm just gonna do my yoga now. I have to do my yoga, You can see this show as a pretext for doing yoga, because it's the most important thing for my back, at least. Calma.
Cowboy Kim I am a lucky cowboy. Let me tell you why. I am a man with a mission. A boy with a gun. I got a picture in my pocket of the lucky one. I was not so winner on the radio with my microphone. I do a super show. I wear a cowboy hat. It is my business hat. I'm what you want I am. I will tell you that. I'm a man with a mission. A boy with a gun. I got a picture in my pocket of the lucky one. Who doesn't know? I'm a big man. I mean a really big man. A big man who all things of a big mess. Big mess. He was a really mix up. He was a big mess. Big mess. He was a really mix up.
Oh, I almost forgot.
The most important thing, I put away my toys with a microphone. I do a super show. another winner on the radio. I'm a man with a mission.
The most important thing. Now you got.
Pocket of a lucky one. Who doesn't know? I'm a big man. I'm a really big man.
I will do more yoga after that, but now it's as usual time for Tommy yoga. Tommy, don't kill the Akitas, okay? Forget him, forget them. No, it's not forget, but I forgot the word. Is how to say when you forbid. It's not forbid neither. Excuse them. Oh, I forgot the word. Yeah. When you have, well, the Akitas should appear in any moment soon. They are always at this hour of the day. Tommy.